Hello, my name is Maria Garcia, and I'm the author of the book, We Made San Diego. We Made San Diego is full of true stories of Latinos who made an impact on America's finest city. Places they live, goals they achieved, contributions they made, business and organizations they created. We Made San Diego is packed with inspiring tales of resilient individuals who overcame both personal and social struggles to achieve their dreams. The We Made San Diego documentary series brings these dramatic and inspiring true stories of the strength of the Latino community from the pages to the screen. So sit back and enjoy. There is an organization that has contributed to the San Diego community for more than 50 years called MAAC. They offer 5 pathways of service: housing, education, economic development, health and wellness, advocacy, and leadership. MAAC is an acronym for Metropolitan Area Advisory Committee on Anti-Poverty.
My name is Roger Cesares. My job was President CEO of the MAAC project for 34 years. I was working at San Diego Trust and Savings Bank, and I was in the executive ladder, but I took a leave of absence to work at a new project in National City called the MAAC project as a job developer. I never went back to the bank.
My name is Arnulfo Manriquez, and I am the President and CEO of MAAC. I started working here in 2003, but I first heard of MAAC back in 1994 after I had been a year in my career of affordable housing working with a nonprofit. And MAAC had the grand opening of the Mercado apartments in Barrio Logan, and so I decided I want to come and check out this grand opening. And as I was standing there listening to the speeches, listening to the late Rich Juarez speak about MAAC and the programs and housing, and how the work wasn't just about housing, it really was about economic development. It was about helping the families. So it was about education. It was about health.
Just as anyone can fall into hard times, there are San Diegans who face challenges and in many cases have nowhere to turn.
Pretty much being homeless, living in one room, like a garage, for a long time, about 4 years.
I had to live in TJ for a year and be coming all the way from Rosarito to here to school. And there were some times that I had to bring the baby to daycare, so it was even harder.
It's hard being an addict. It's really hard because I didn't wake up and say, God, I want to be an addict.
But at the end, what drove me to want to come work at MAAC is when I heard that MAAC is more than housing. That encompasses and incorporates all the programs they talked about. And at that point, I thought, I want to work at MAAC. That was 94. And so I started working at MAAC in 2003. There was no job or no opening or anything. I just knew that this is where I wanted to work. So I was very persistent about how they could pay me, how I could come up with some sources or programs, and also be able to talk to, bring in some of my own skills and with the work that the organization was already doing. And I had a chance to meet Roger Casares for the first time in person in November of 2002. And as I had my conversation, my interview, he said, all right, sell your house, get everything ready, and when you're ready to move, you have a job here. I started working in March of 2003. And my career really has grown at MAAC. So I've been the CEO since 2012. It's about a little over 11 years here at MAAC.
MAAC got started in 1965, and it was started by some organizations that were around at that time, such as the San Diego chapter of the American GI Forum, Hermandad Mexicana, Local 89 Laborers Union, and the Council of Latin American Clubs started the MAAC project in order to apply for the War and Poverty funds under the Johnson administration.
I would say that I grew up middle income when we were living in Mexico. And when we moved to the United States, I think clearly we were low income. We're a family of 7. My mom and dad and 5 siblings. I have 4 older sisters. But I never saw myself as low income. To me, it was like we had a house, we went to school, I had clothes, I had food, and that's really what life was about for me. But I helped in the family business. My mom had a flower shop. My mom had to start working when we moved to the United States. So I learned flowers. I learned how to do first like little floral bouquets, and I would actually, to make extra money, I would walk down the street with a bucket of water and bouquets and knock door to door and sell flowers. But we never had brand name clothing. My mom would sometimes sew shirts and shorts for me and try to sew on the logos of the name brands so that I could feel like that I was wearing some name brand clothing. So my childhood, that's an example. When we say it's more than housing here at MAAC, it's more than just coming in and getting an affordable apartment.
MAAC got started because there was a vacuum of the lack of services to marginalized communities in those days. And so we built these facilities under this War on Poverty Act and brought them in. So they came in and they were situated in San Isidro, National City, in these centers that we helped build. And that's the way we got them to bring the services into the community. We got funding from United Way because a friend of ours, Frank Panarisi, who headed the health and welfare programs at the County of San Diego, was the chairman of the board. And so me and Howard Carey went to the board meeting and we told them that they were not serving the people of color because they didn't provide funding to any community-based organizations of color. So Frank says, okay, then we'll start the D&D fund, which is a demonstration fund, and they gave us $50,000, and we told them if they gave us the seed money, we could leverage it. So we did. We got that seed money and leveraged it and brought in $6 million of outside federal funding.
What is the Mercado Apartments?
Well, the Mercado Apartments was one of the first facilities that was built in the Logan Heights community. It was really the first investment of any sort on a large scale. And we built it because we saw a need for affordable housing for low-income working families primarily. We had a vision of building affordable housing in the Logan Heights community.
When they ask me, like, what are the programs that you like working at within the organization, or they already know. I think when I start talking about affordable housing, they say your whole demeanor changes. And I love all the programs that we operate because I see the impacts that we have all the way from the preschools to the high schools to the economic development. But I would say housing really is the focus. For me, is for a household to have a safe environment, a safe place to live.
Can you explain what Casa de Justicia was?
Casa de Justicia was a place where it was called the House of Justice. We were actually helping people that were undocumented get legal status. And we were doing it because there were notarios públicos in San Isidro, Logan Heights. They were ripping the people off. They were taking their original documents like birth certificates and holding them hostage like for $500 to get them back. We started doing it for free. I remember one time we had a coffee can for donations, and one time this little blonde, beautiful blonde lady comes in, and she says, "I'm from England and I'm here on a visa, a visitor's visa, and I want to marry an American citizen so I can get a legal status." And I pulled out a law book and I says, "That's called a marriage of convenience, and I advise you not to do it." Well, she took $20 and put it in a can. She was a plant from the FBI to see if we would take the bait. Nobody ever donated $20 for one.
We hope you enjoyed part 1 of our feature on MAAC. In part 2 of MAAC Has Your Back, we will highlight the life-changing power and importance of MAAC's core programs as they apply to 3 individuals who you saw earlier in the video.
Hey! Did you know? We made San Diego.
For credits and more information, please visit WeMadeSanDiego.com or scan the QR code here. Thank you for watching, and please subscribe to our YouTube channel.